So when using control rig in Unreal and you get gimbal lock, you can have four poses like you see here interpolate kind of oddly, like you see here in the bottom, because the gimbal lock has two axes almost lined up with one another. So normally you could try to keyframe all the keys in between to sort of clean this. But in this example here, I'm going to show you how you can use a null to clean up this interpolation. To do this tutorial, you're going to have to know how to use sequencer inside of Unreal, how to pose a control rig, and how to put keys on that control rig. And you're going to have to know how to clean sequencer curves. I'll first demonstrate how you can use Sequence Baker to do this quickly. Here you can see a control rig and it has gimbal lock in between these three keys here. So if you have the Qoobit Sequence Baker loaded up for here, you can switch your mode to constraints. And what you can do is go to the keys that are offending, go to the first key, press I, go to the last key, press O, scrub in between them so you can see that this is the troublesome area. If you press selection here, it'll take the frame range that's in between these two in and out. And then if you hit the bake range here, it will also duplicate the values here, which is needed for this tool. And if you have the control selected, you press this down arrow and press world space parent constraint nulls on selected controls. It'll bake a null down onto that spot and constrain this control to this null. And then what you could do is go to the null itself, open up the curves. So I know I want this null to rotate on the z-axis here, but not on the X and Y. So I'm going to go into the X and Y curves and just delete them. And I can press 4 to make them linear. So I know that this arm can go just rotate on that Z-axis there. And then after that, I can click on this and hit the bake button. And that will remove the null and remove the constraints that were originally on these. And you can see here that the keys before and after are still maintained, and it's just that one area that was cleaned up. So if we take a look at these keys, you can see that they're kind of messy here, but it looks clean because it was cleaned in the null space that was here originally to counter the gimbal lock that happened when the arm first moved up. So now I'm going to demonstrate how to do this manually without using the plugin, and you can see the difference. I'm imagining I don't have a null object. I'm going to get a cube. And then I'm going to just mark the in and out so that it's easier for me to see. 34 is the in. 76 is the out. So this is two keyframes, and there's bad interpolation in between it. Take this cube, go to the snapper. Cube is the child. This controls the world. There's the start. There's the end. All pivots for everything, all frames. Snap that animation. So now I have the cube there. Yep. And the cube has all the keys. So now I'm going to go to the first frame and parent to constraint. Cube is the parent. I'm going to do parent constraint with the maintain offset and the offset dynamically on. Now the cube should control the arm. I know that the cube's axis is this way, so that's where I would want it to rotate on, and I don't need the same keys as the other one, so I'll delete the keys in between on the X. So now it looks like it's correct. Hit the bake button. So now I can use these values here as a reference. 54, 76. All keyframes. And I can bake down this constraint back to the controller, and then I can hide this cube and take a look at the interpolation fix between those two keys that were there.